If you are familiar with Maurice Willoughby's story, then you do know that it does involve sexuality, drug abuse, and other sensitive topics that may be triggering or you just may not want to hear, and you don't have to. If you do decide to leave a comment, please be respectful. If the comments don't appear, that's because they just couldn't be respectful. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, August 18th, 2019. As I gathered my research for this video, I realized a few things. I'm old as hell. I see why the youth is so attracted to social media. MySpace was founded in 2003 and Facebook 2004. So if you're about 20 years old, this is all you know. I mean, I'm really old as hell. Maurice Willoughby, who went by Reese, was 20 years old. He had multiple pages dating as far back as 2012 with various different aliases. He practically grew up on Facebook. I mean, he did. He really grew up on Facebook. In today's world, where nobody has a thick skin anymore and everyone feels so offended, I promise you, I will never intentionally try to offend someone or make any videos purposely targeting certain people. Again, it's never my intent to offend. Have you noticed the names of things have changed? The people have changed, but the situation, it just doesn't ever change. It remains the same. So those of you who have watched these videos, I admit, I used to be a handful. But when I was 20 years old, I used to hang out on 43rd and 8th Avenue in Midtown Manhattan. There were a bunch of guys who dressed as girls, and they were young, and unfortunately, most of them were streetwalkers. They were prostituting. Even at a young age, I guess I was curious about other people. I would talk to them. I would spend time with them, sometimes all night with them. But I had a place to go. I had a home, I had a nice warm bed, I had food in the refrigerator, and they didn't. Most of these young people, they had ran away from their homes because of sexual abuse. And ironically, now they were on the streets, selling their bodies to family men, businessmen. I actually have written a book about this years ago, and perhaps one day I will share it. I even kept a 110 Kodak camera on me and a Polaroid camera. I have pictures too. Damn, I'm so old. I had a Polaroid camera. But I learned a lot about them. They refer to themselves as trannies or even transsexuals or T-girls. I never heard of the word trans woman. Not back then. I'm not saying it didn't exist. I personally just hadn't heard about it. The older ones, like 30, they call themselves drag queens. I would watch them perform at the queer and the gay bars, and I would love to see them dance. I really enjoyed it. I still do. I like to watch it. I look at gay TikTok all the time. It amazes me just how they dance. So I come from a generation where all I knew was gay, lesbian, straight, bisexual, even trisexual, for the ones who would try anything. Then there was bi-curious. Those were the ones who might have relations with the same sex. Either you did or you didn't, but the curiosity was over. Gay was when two men were together. And lesbians were when two women were together, and you either had a lipstick lesbian, those were the femmes, and then you had your dykes. Those were the more masculine ones. And then the bisexuals. That's a person who had either a girlfriend or a boyfriend. Now, gay women are definitely more accepted than gay men. Well, let me correct that. Lesbian women are more accepted if the two women are, hot and sexy, and the men think that they have a chance, or maybe even can watch. Now, if it's two masculine women, I'm not sure the male would find that too appealing, or at least not tell anyone. Okay, look, I'm getting to the point. By now you should know that there is a method to my madness. Now, two men that were in an open relationship were homosexual, gay lovers, and we all know the derogatory name calling, and I don't think that will ever change. It's still hurtful and horrible. And of course, DL, short for down low, secret and discreet. It should be LD for low down, because the man is either gay or he's bisexual and he's having a sexual relationship with another man, and it's a secret between them. Usually one or both of them, the men, they may be in relationships with women, and the woman has no clue, and she thinks that her husband or boyfriend is heterosexual. Now, I've mentioned this before. In my late teens, I dated a guy who was bisexual, but that's not what he called it. He told me that he was, quote, gay for pay, end quote. But that's a whole other story. My point is, he told me, and it was my decision. I was 19 and he was 22, so we were legally adults. Even though we were both so young, but I knew what he was. I remember a police officer had came up to me and said, "Do you know what your boyfriend does for a living?" I said, "Yes, I do." I remember the look on his face. Even though I was young, I still feel the same way I feel now. Just be honest. You can lie to everyone, but you can't lie to yourself. Which brings us to this young man, Reese. The first thing I noticed about Reese was he had a different type of look going on. He was very flamboyant, which is cool. I never wanted and still don't want to look like anyone else. I heard snide remarks because of it back then. I don't care. And I know Reese heard a lot of snide remarks. And in his death, trolls still use the opportunity to say the most horrible things underneath a deceased child's picture. I look at Reese's pictures and I could see a sadness in him. But honestly, I see that in a lot of young people these days. You would have to be over 40 to know exactly what I'm talking about. I think social media plays a huge part, but that's for a later discussion. But one thing I do know about Reese was he wasn't afraid. He was going to be who he wanted to be and do whatever he wanted to do. And he was in love with his transgendered girlfriend, who calls herself Faith. I saw videos of both of them together on social media, and he wasn't ashamed, he wasn't hiding, he was open. He referred to her as his wife. He always wanted her to be on the camera with him. You hardly seen her on the camera. She normally shied away, but you would hear her in the background.
You want to go on live?
Yeah, so they could be like,
I don't want to go on live with a scarf on.
I don't care. You with your...
I don't need the paparazzi on me.
Yes, you do.
On July 18th, 2019, in Reese's own words, quote, "I don't care if she wasn't born a woman. She is a woman to me," end quote. The couple was young, and I read through articles and a lot of commenting that there was abuse in the relationship, like domestic abuse and drug abuse. I mean, I don't want to make light of anything. Those allegations are serious. But we have seen this in couples young and old. I mean, there's a young couple right now on social media that is currently going through a lot of alcoholism and physical abuse, and they have a huge following, and it's like a train wreck. I mean, you can't look away. I didn't find out about Reese until, like most of us, after the video had went viral. I know that if it had gone viral before his death or after his death, that the circumstances were still very iffy. Why did this young man in this video feel necessary to record Reese and heckle him at the store? Reese had posted for years, I mean way back, supporting gay marriage memes. He speaks of some of his ex-girlfriends, the good ones, the bad ones. Like any young man, he speaks of a lot of his heterosexual interactions, to put it nicely. But that video, it received over 4 million views that morning of a young man being bullied about his sexual preference of a transgendered girlfriend. And you could see that young man with his hands in his own pants asking Reese what he does orally with another man, mocking him about faith. Reese, standing in his own comfort, says, "So what? I like trannies." I mean, they're too young to know this. I'm talking about the hecklers at the store. But you can ask anyone of age. When someone goes out their way to mock, tease, and humiliate someone that they may think is gay and pointing a finger at him, recording him, that says a lot about themselves. They may be questioning their own sexuality. What other reasons of why they would care so much? I mean, why did you care so much? Just saying.
Keep it a beat. You fuck what? You fuck what? Bro. Bro, you do what?
Fuck training, so what?
That's thorough? Like, that's not thorough. You sucking dick and all that. That's not thorough, sucking dick and all that.
He don't suck dick. He don't give
He suck dick. You say, keep it a beat. You fuck what? You fuck what? Bro. Bro, you do what?
Fuck training, so what?
That's thorough? Like, that's not thorough. You sucking dick and all that. That's not thorough, sucking dick and all that.
He don't suck dick. He don't give
He suck dick.
With hashtags RIP Reese, his family, friends, leaving messages on his Facebook pages in disbelief. Reese was gone. Leaders of the LGBT community spoke about his death. Betty O'Rourke tweeted, quote, "No one should lose their life because of who they are and who they love," end quote. He intentionally overdosed after the recording went viral. I even made a comment on my own Facebook page. Why would he? Why would he end his life over that video. I mean, he shared it on his own pages. He has her name tatted on a quarter of his face. It had to be more to it. I don't know what, but it had to be more to it. It wasn't over that young man with his hands in his pants taunting him about what he does sexually with another person. But people very close to Reese, they believe that he didn't do this intentionally. They believe that it was murder.
Them know you killed him. He's gone forever. And now I gotta stand here and make a lie. Right? I don't have no son, but you got everything else. But it's cool though. It's cool though. It's okay. Because now y'all seeing me for the first time. Tariq Palmer. But Linda Palmer is your mother. And you're her son. I don't bring nobody no harm. I want to know what happened to my son. Why? Why? Let me know. What's up? I'm here. I'm in Philadelphia right now. I'm here. I ain't hiding. I got the same demeanor as them. I look just like them. Yes. What's up? Tell me what y'all did. Tell me what you know. Y'all killed my son. And I'm not going to rest till I get justice. I'm not going to rest.
There are things that the local news will never know. But Reese's family feels something else has happened. His mother is obviously in pain. Yes, I read comments that this was intentionally and that Faith, an accomplice, had a hand in his demise. She did it because Reese was leaving her. Even accusations that Reese may have even been beaten up around the time of his death. I mean, it's tragic. An article stated that Faith has an Instagram video that she discussed what occurred. She said he was depressed, a heavy drug user, abusive, and that she was a domestic abuse survivor. And she had managed to get away safely after he had threatened to take his life and hers. Team No Labels is what he called it. Trans Lives Matter, he posted on his page. He shared suicide awareness memes. If you took away the tats, the piercing, and the bad habits, you're just left with a 20-year-old kid. Rest in peace, Reese.